Chinese pot, Chinese pot, Chinese pot. That's the way to learn Chinese. Chinese pot, Chinese pot, Chinese pot. That's the way to learn Chinese.
Hi everyone, welcome to Chinese Pod. This is Fiona.
And this is Gulen.
And today we're going to be guiding you through a newbie lesson on house hunting.
Okay, so this is going to be really useful if you ever need to rent an apartment in China.
Even if you've just started learning Mandarin, if you just know these few bits of key lingo, house hunting is going to be a breeze. Well, a little bit easier at least.
Yeah, it's always going to be quite stressful.
All right, well, let's listen to the dialogue 3 times. 对话第一遍。这屋子很亮，
两室一厅，厨房有煤气管道，
很适合我们。
租金多少
3500。
第二遍。这屋子很亮，
两室一厅，厨房有煤气管道，
很适合我们。
租金多少
3500。
第三遍。这屋子很亮，
两室一厅，厨房有煤气管道，
很适合我们。
租金多少
3500。
Now that we've listened to the dialogue, let's move on to the translations. 这屋子很亮。
This apartment is really bright.
这屋子很亮。
This house is really bright.
这屋子很亮。两室一厅，厨房有煤气管道。
It's a 2-bedroom place with a living room and a gas-powered kitchen.
两室一厅，厨房有煤气管道。
It is a 2-bedroom place with a living room and a gas-powered kitchen.
两室一厅，厨房有煤气管道，很适合我们。
It's perfect for us.
很适合我们。
It really suits us.
很适合我们。租金多少？
How much is the rent?
租金多少？
How much is the rent?
租金多少？
How much is the rent?
租金多少？3500。
It's 3,500 RMB.
3500。
It's 3,500 RMB.
3500。All right, now that we've done the translations, let's move on to the dialogue. So let's start with the beginning of the dialogue where we hear the woman say, this apartment is really bright. Now, this in Mandarin is 这.
Okay, so that's just the word for this. And in this case, she's talking about the apartment, right? The house.
So she says 屋子.
Okay, and what are the tones on that?
So that's WU, first tone, 屋, and ZI, Z, that's neutral tone. So 屋子.
Okay, so this apartment is very bright.
Or this house, right? And actually, because she's talking about this house, the character 屋子 gives us a clue that she's inside the house.
Okay, so I've learnt that house or room is 房子.
房子. 房子 also means house, but 屋子 is most often used by native speakers when they're inside the house. Okay, so there's 2 general rules here. 屋子 for inside, 房子 usually for outside.
Okay, so this couple are obviously viewing a house. They're inside the house. That's why they refer to it as 屋子.
And everyone likes a bright house, right? Who likes to live in the dark? So she says, 这屋子很 is very, H-E-N, third tone, 亮, L-I-A-N-G, fourth tone, 亮.
Okay, so this 很, that's the third tone, right? H-E-N. And you usually put this in front of an adjective to kind of intensify what it means. And she's saying it's very bright. So what's the word for bright?
亮.
Okay, so that's L-I-A-N-G, fourth tone.
And now that we've talked about bright, and I personally hate living in dark rooms, but sometimes that does happen. Do you know how to say dark in Mandarin?
No, tell me.
Dark in Mandarin is an, A-N, fourth tone.
Okay, so we have bright, which is,
亮
and then dark, which is.
暗
Okay, so the guy, he starts describing the room layouts, how many bedrooms, how many living rooms, that kind of thing.
So he uses something that we often see on adverts or when native speakers talk about apartments, right? How many bedrooms and stuff. We have a very specific format of describing this. And here we see it today. So 两室, 两 is 2, and 室, S-H-I, fourth tone, just describes how many bedrooms there are. And then the next thing we see is 一厅, E being 1, right? And 厅 here usually describes places that you can like have a sofa, so a living room or a dining room. But here it's kind of like a combo, right? So living room, dining room in one room.
Okay, how about if we're looking at a slightly bigger place? For example, 3 bedrooms, a dining room, and a living room.
Okay, so quite a bigger place. In that case, if there were 3 bedrooms, a separate dining room, and a living room, you would say 三室两厅. 三室两厅.
Right, Fee, when I've been kind of browsing the App Store, sometimes I see this structure, 两房一厅.
That's correct, Willem, actually. So often you'll also see 房 instead of 室, and that also just means bedroom, right? So sometimes you'll see 三房两厅.
Otherwise, you might see
三室一厅, like in today's dialogue.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Chinese Pod Trivia. Our first question is, how long will it take you to become an intermediate Chinese speaker using the Chinese Pod app? Is it A, the rest of your life? B, you should already be an intermediate speaker? C, 3 months? Or D, Chinese Pod has an app?
You should already be in.
Ooh, that is incorrect. The correct answer is C, 3 months. That's right. Head over to ChinesePod.com now to register for your access to over 4,000 lessons. Get the Chinese Pod app now on Google Play or the App Store.
And remember, guys, so this only describes like the amount of living space there is. It doesn't include kitchens or bathrooms. So do ask if you are house hunting. But in today's case, there is a kitchen, right? And the kitchen also has natural gas, right? Kind of connected to it. So let's look at this sentence. Kitchen in Mandarin is 厨房, 厨房.
So that's 2 second tones, CHU second tone, FANG second tone.
Yeah, and in today's kitchen we have natural gas, right? And that is 煤气管道. 煤气 is gas and 管道 is just kind of pipeline, so it just means that the kitchen's kind of wired up, gassed up.
So let's break that down. So 管道, 管 is just a tube, right? And 道.
It's just a path. So imagine a whole kind of pipeline, right? 煤气管道.
And you might find this weird that they're kind of specifying that it's a gas-piped kitchen. But you wouldn't be... I've lived in places where there is no gas piping, and you have to kind of buy one of these electric plug-in cookers so you can kind of cook your instant noodles on it.
Personally, I hate electric cooker things. You know, I like to do my big stir fries, my big fried rices, so I need to have strong gas. I can't cook on hobs.
Okay, just one more time, can you give us the word for kitchen?
Sure, that is 厨房.
Okay, and then the word for kind of a gas line in the kitchen.
煤气管道. 有 is to have, right? And here, so the kitchen has 煤气管道.
Okay, so similar to English, it's just kitchen has gas line.
That's correct. So the two people have checked the house out. It's lovely and bright. 很亮. It's got the right number of bedrooms. It's got a kitchen equipped with, gas, natural gas. So they've decided that it probably suits them. The Mandarin word to suit, the verb is 适合. 适合.
So the tones on that are SHI fourth tone, HE second tone.
Guys, and remember, this is a verb. Gwilym, I know this is something that you used to get confused when you started out in Mandarin, right? You would get a 适合 confused with 合适, which is an adjective, which is just the reverse of 适合.
Yeah, so the characters, it's basically the same characters, but one is reversed, one's flipped around. But after a while, I realized that 适合 is a verb. So, for example, this job really suits me. How would you say that?
这个工作很适合我.
Whereas 合适 is more like something is suitable or appropriate. For example, these shoes are appropriate.
For me, right? But so most often when you're talking about something suits someone or this thing suits me, you're using the verb form. So do remember that, guys. And actually sticking to 适合, I think you're going to have less chance of kind of mucking up, really. So 适合 is to suit, the verb in Mandarin.
And in this case, it really suits them. It suits us. So what's the word for us?
Us, the pronoun for us in Mandarin, or we, is 我们. 我们.
So the pronoun for I or me is just 我. And then by putting a men on the end, what does it make it?
It makes it a plural pronoun, right? So it's we or us. 我们. And it doesn't only suit them, it really suits them, right? So 很适合我们.
Okay, and the $1,000,000 question, how much is the rent?
You might find these perfect places for you, but it all depends on the rent sometimes, right? So here we see 租金多少. 租金 is rent, and literally broken down actually is rent money, right? So rent.
Okay, so this jin, J-I-N, first tone, literally means gold or money. And whenever you see this 租 character, it's often someone's renting out a place. So it's
Exactly.
ZU first tone.
So 租金 and 多少 is literally how much. So how much is the rent? 租金多少?
And if you're a newbie, you probably use this 多少 a lot whenever you're asking how much something costs. In this case, we're asking how much the rent is. So what does the landlord say the rent is?
So he says 3,500, right? 3,500. 3,500.
So it's 3,500 RMB probably, right?
So often people will kind of abbreviate 3,500块 to 3,500 just to say, oh, that's 3,500.
And I think we can safely assume it's probably per month, right?
So if it's per month, you would probably add at the beginning of 3,500, he would probably say 一个月3,500.
So each month it is 3,500 RMB, and we're not specifying that it's RMB because it's obvious.
Unless it's a super fancy place, which it might be per week, but I think it's per month, guys. All right, guys, now that we've discussed the language, let's review it again 3 more times.
Okay.
对话第一遍。这屋子很亮，
两室一厅，厨房有煤气管道，
很适合我们。
租金多少
3500。
第二遍。这屋子很亮，
两室一厅，厨房有煤气管道，
很适合我们。
租金多少
3500。
第三遍。这屋子很亮，
两室一厅，厨房有煤气管道，
很适合我们。
租金多少
3500。
Okay, guys, we've discussed some vocabulary today that will hopefully help you with your house hunting. I know this lesson the idea of this lesson came about when one of my friends was going on websites and apps and he couldn't figure out the structure of 几室几厅, X 室 X 厅. It just didn't understand what it was trying to imply. And once I kind of highlighted it to him, it made his hunt so much easier. You can look at pictures, but if you can kind of get the description as well, it really helps you out.
Yeah, because this ting can be a bit confusing because you don't know if it's a living room, a dining room, what it is. Maybe they don't mention bathrooms, things like that. You can get a long way with Google Translate, I know that. But knowing this sentence structure is really helpful.
Yeah, and we do have a couple of lessons regarding renting apartments in more of the intermediate kind of sections, but we wanted to help you newbies out because I know for one that house hunting is just immensely stressful, right? I hate house hunting, but it's just one of those things you've got to do.
Especially if you've just moved to China, maybe you're studying Chinese, this is going to be one thing you're going to have to come across, right?
Okay, guys, if you are looking for a house and you're listening to this, good luck.
As usual,
And
Chinese
we hope
Pod
you enjoyed
provides
the
an
lesson.
extensive
We'll see you
selection
soon.
of learning materials
再见.
for this lesson on its website, www.chinesepod.com. You can access this lesson directly with the lesson number 2620. So just go to www.chinesepod.com/2620 and you will find a transcript, vocabulary, and much more. The link again, www.chinesepod.com/2620.